Hi, I'm Cleo. I'm a longtime tutor and a test prep expert here with Study.com. Today we're going to be talking about the Praxis Fundamental Subjects exam, which is 5511 test code. And we're going to be focusing on the math portion, specifically the problems related to geometry and measurement. So we have 4 sample problems for you, and we are going to jump in now. All right, here we go. Our first problem here, we have Greg's garden has a length of 5 yards. How long is it in inches? Well, this is basically just conversions. In science, sometimes you call this dimensional analysis. Basically, we're just going to think about units and how they convert and see what we're left with. So we want to set things up in a way that they cancel, the units cancel, so we end up going from yards to inches. So 5 yards, I'm going to multiply that by the conversion factor of how many feet in a yard? 3 feet in 1 yard, right? So 3 feet to 1 yard. Okay? And then that's taking us to feet, but we want to go all the way to inches. So now I need to think about the feet to inches conversion. So I'm going to multiply that by how many inches in a foot? 12 inches, right? So 12 inches in 1 foot. So 12 inches to 1 foot. Okay, now we can think about how this works out. So let's think about units first. The yards on top cancel with the yards on the bottom. Feet on top cancel with the feet on the bottom. So great, we're left with inches, which is what we want. And now we think about the math. 5 times 3 times 12 divided by 1. So that's going to be 15 times 12. Remember, you have an on-screen calculator available for this. So we can do that calculation that way, or we can just think about it, say 15 times 12. Well, 15 times 10 is 150 plus an extra 2 times 15. So that's 150 plus an extra 30. So that's going to be 180. And that's going to be in inches because that is the unit that we're left with. So that's going to be right here. Okay. All right, so our second problem says find the perimeter of a rectangle that measures 28 by 20 centimeters. So let's draw out a little basic rectangle here. 28 by 20, okay, 28, and 20. And with perimeter, we know that we have to add up all the sides, right? So it's a rectangle, so opposite sides are the same. So this is also 28. Okay, and this is also 20. So if we were to add those all together, 20 plus 20 is 40, 28 plus 28, that's going to be 40 plus 16, so that's 56. So 56 plus 40, that's going to be 96. So that's our answer. And if it was easier to think about it all in terms of the 20s, it would be 20, 40, 60, 80 plus the extra 16, 96. Okay, for problem 3, we have a geometry problem. What is the area of a semicircle with a diameter of 21 centimeters? So let's just draw ourselves a semicircle. It's half a circle, right? Diameter is 21 centimeters. So that means all the way across. Well, to find area of a circle, we don't really need diameter. We need radius, right? The radius is the length from the center out, or in this case, half the diameter. So 21 divided by 2 would be 10.5 centimeters. So that is a very useful number for us. That is our radius, right? So that equals r. Okay, well, the formula for area of a circle is pi r squared. Pi r squared equals area, but in this case, it's a semicircle. So we are going to take that and we're going to divide it by 2 because we don't need the whole circle, right? So in this case, we're just going to plug in our 10.5 for our radius. And then we're going to, the answers are not in terms of pi. So we're going to, at the end, plug in pi. But remember, you can use a calculator for all of this. So I'm going to do the same on my end. So r squared, 10.5 squared. That is going to be 10.5 times 10.5. That's 110.25. And then I know I need to divide that by 2. So, okay, so that gives me 55.125.125, and we need to multiply that by pi. 55.125 pi. Okay, so I'm going to take that and do times 3.14 as an estimate, or if you have pi, you can use that. Looks like it's about 173. So that's in centimeters squared because it's area, right? So that's going to be this answer choice here, 173.25 centimeters squared. All right, so for problem 4 here, we have another geometry problem involving circles, but it says, what is the difference between the circumference of the two concentric circles? So concentric circles mean that they share the same center, right? So we have this blue one and we have this kind of tan outer one. So circumference, it's most important to know that formula. Circumference equals pi d, or in this case, since we have radii given to us, 2 pi r. 2 pi r. And that makes sense because radius is half of a denominator, right? So 2r would be a d, so that's equivalent to pi d. But we're going to think in terms of radius, so 2 pi r. So if we want to know the difference between the circumference of these circles, I'm going to say that difference means subtraction, right? So C tan minus C blue, I'll call it. Okay, so that's the circumference of the outer minus the circumference of the inner, 2 pi r. So the outer radius is 10, so that's going to be 2 pi times 10 minus the circumference of the inner radius is 6 inches, so 2 pi times 6. 2 pi times 6. Remember, there's implied multiplication here when these are written in a row like this. So 2 times 10 is 20. 20 pi minus 2 times 6 is 12 pi. So 20 pi minus 12 pi. Okay. And that is going to be 20 minus 10 is 8, right? So our answer is going to be 8 pi. And that, sorry, my mouse is being a little slow. Okay, 8 pi, here we go. That is our answer. The difference between the circumference of the two circles, 8 pi inches. Hey, thanks so much for joining in. I hope those practice problems were helpful. If you'd like to do some more practice for Praxis, you can check out our other videos here, or you can head over to study.com, and there as a member, you'll find you have access to hundreds of sample problems like the ones that we just did together, as well as instruction that is targeted by specific category and subject if you'd like to review. And you can also find strategy because we want to help you boost your score on the day of the test. So in the meantime, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and drop a comment. Let us know if there's a specific topic you'd like us to review, something you're struggling with that you haven't seen covered yet. Well, thanks again and happy studying.